Let's move on and talk to Ed in Arizona. Ed, you're live with Eric and Dennis. How are you doing today?
This is Ed. Am I on now?
You are.
Yes.
Hey, Ted, what do you want to talk about?
Okay.
You're talking to the world.
Just here. What?
You're talking to the world.
Okay. I just wanted to share an experience that
All right.
might benefit both Christians and atheists. I'm 66.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're phrasing this in a way that we're having a conversation and it not be story time with Ed. So as long as we can move that experience into something we can talk about, I'm happy.
Oh, yeah. I'm 66 years old, and all my life I've been a believer. And being a believer, I've always been opposed to atheists, very much, and up until 2 years ago. And when my son told me that, he said, Dad, he's an atheist. And he said, Dad, atheists don't say that there's no God. But you see, that's what I always heard atheists say in my life.
Right.
But and I was repeating that. And he said, Dad, atheists don't say that there is no God. An atheist just says that they don't believe that there's a God. Now, I really had to think about that. And for the first time in my life, I actually opened my mind to thinking that, maybe atheists aren't so bad after all. And because I realized, I believe that there is an almighty creator. I believe that.
Okay.
But now, if you don't believe it, then I don't have any right to discount your unbelief any more than I want you to discount my belief. So the thing is, it's a belief. That's what it is. It's just a belief. I can't prove there's a God, and you can't prove that there isn't.
Actually,
So it's
Ed.
Yeah.
What if you could?
What?
What if you could?
Spell it out.
What?
What if you could determine whether or not a God existed? Because, we're both not right.
Hey,
One of us is right.
I didn't say you can't determine. I said you can't prove. A Christian, no man can prove that there is a God.
Isn't that a problem, Ed? Isn't that a problem? Because I can prove a lot of other things.
Well, I don't know how anyone can prove that there is a God. It's a belief. You can't prove that there is no God, can you?
Okay, now we wrapped back around, and that's fine. So let's make sure that we're clear on this. What if you could determine whether or not a God existed? Would you want to know?
Determine is different than proving. A determination is is a conclusion I come to.
Okay, cool. Are you justified in your conclusion?
In my eyes, I am.
Okay. Are you justified in my eyes?
Probably not.
Okay, so why?
I should be.
So why is there a problem here? Why is there a disconnect between what I would find justified and what you find justified?
No, I'm not saying. I'm trying to say just the opposite. Maybe my words are getting in the way. My point is that I'll tell you what. I've been listening to your show now for about a month.
Oh, Ed, I'm sorry. You're putting up with us for a month? Ooh, sorry, man.
Is that bad? Well, I just learned about your program about a month ago.
Yeah, you've had to put up with my butt for a month. That's cheers.
We're being self-deprecating here.
And Eric, I've listened to a lot of talk show hosts in my life. I have never heard one as patient and open as you are. And I mean that. That's what has drawn me to your program. You know, I tuned in one time, skeptical the first time.
Yeah.
You know, my son, who's an atheist, we found common ground. And so I've been open to him. And he said, Dad, listen to this program. So I did. But as I listened to you deal with these people, you're just patient. I don't have that kind of patience that you have.
You've got patience with me today, Ed.
Well, you listen to some pretty ridiculous arguments, and
so here,
just shun the people.
No, I mean, here's the thing, Ed. I think that the heart of what you're getting at is that we can work together, that we can collaborate and not see each other as enemies. And I agree. And I hope we can build a better world together. Now, that said, the reason for this show, one of the reasons for this show, is a lot of people don't get to have these conversations because maybe it could break up their families. Maybe it could cause them to lose their jobs, right? Lots of different reasons like that. The fact is, we make sure that we're putting ourselves in an environment, right, where believers call us. They're deciding to have the conversations with us. And so I entirely agree with you that we can build a positive world together. I just want to take that next step and go, let's talk about the God thing too, because I want you to have good reasons for what you believe. And if I ask tough questions, if I ask tough questions, it's nothing against you, but it has everything with why are you justified in it? Because it's one step to work together. It's another to work on yourself.
Well, I've had 60-some years to think about these things and to study them. And I spent my life studying the Bible. I got out of Christianity about 20 years ago because it's just so ridiculous. There's so much nonsense in it. But because I throw out Christianity, I don't have anything to do with Christianity. I think they do a lot. They do some good, yes, but they do a lot more harm than they do good by teaching that junk that they teach. That's just not true. But anyway, I don't want to get on that. That's my soapbox stand. I still believe my faith in the Almighty is not based upon what other people teach or do. It's based upon what I see myself and I understand. But the reason I called in, I just simply wanted to share with you that 2 years ago, I went through a really hard experience for 4 months. I had to take a really hard look at my life and the things I believe. And I realized I grew up very prejudicial because my dad, he was very prejudicial. But I was more prejudiced against atheists than anyone else on the planet. In the last 2 years, I've had the privilege of meeting and fellowshipping with quite a few atheists through the some meetings I've heard about, and I started going to just to check it out. And I realized, good grief, man, you have just as much right to not believe in God as I have a right to believe in him. So, yeah, why can't we get along?
I think we can.
Right. If we're not forcing each other into each other's mold, we should be fine.
Yeah. I just, now that you're here.
Look, I don't have any right or responsibility to try to teach you, try to make you what I think you should be. I don't have a right to do that, and no responsibility.
Here's the thing, Ed. I want to empower you at this point, man. I'm sure you know about the numerous atrocities that the Catholic Church has covered up, and when it comes to
Oh my
moving
goodness.
child predators
I
and
know
hiding
more-
them from
I probably
justice.
know a lot more than you do, man.
Okay, so
Eric.
Ed, if someone were to say, "I think that's fine," and you have no right to change my mind as much as I have a right to change yours, does that sit well with you?
Well, I'm not sure I understand your question.
Go ahead, Dennis. Maybe you can go ahead.
I think what Eric's getting at is the actions of the Catholic Church have consequences, and we feel we have to right the wrongs that they're doing. And so,
but you're talking about wait a minute. You're talking about a system, not a person.
yeah,
The Catholic Church
yes,
is a system, and it is a absolutely degraded system. In fact, of all the religious institutions out there, there's none worse than Catholicism.
I don't know about that,
History bears that out.
but I don't think it needs to be the worst, just as long as we recognize that it's bad. Ed, it's a belief system, and it's not people. You're right, but Ed, you're not people, or you are people. Your beliefs are not people, and so us challenging your beliefs doesn't mean that we're arguing with the person. I respect you as a person. That doesn't mean that I need to respect your beliefs, because if you have bad beliefs, I think the most empathetic thing I can do, the best thing I can do as a humanist, is to push you to question your beliefs and see whether or not you have good reasons. Because I would do that with someone who's part of the Catholic Church, right, who maybe took part in something like that. I would say, why are you justified in that? I can't just walk away from that. I think we need to push each other to be better.
Eric, there is no question you could ask about your faith that I haven't asked. I mean, I really have. I believe that what I believe is the truth. But you see, everyone does. You believe that what you believe is the truth, don't you?
Absolutely. But do you think we have our own truths? We're not both right.
All I'm saying is that if I want the right to believe the way I believe, then I have to give you that right also to believe what you believe and not judge you for it.
I want you to judge me, Ed, because I agree that, respecting people is fantastic. But if I'm doing something or perpetuating a system or a belief that has actual damage, that actually does damage, I want you to hold me accountable. I want you to look out for your neighbor.
Me, Eric. You missed my point.
No. I got your point. I'm taking the next step. The next step is... Okay, then we're good. Maybe we were just talking past each other. Ed?
I understand what you're saying. Look, yes, we have to judge institutions and we have to judge people's actions because, and like you said, hold them accountable. All I'm talking about is your belief. Your belief.
But your beliefs inform your actions.
But see, do you have a right to tell me what to believe and what not to believe? Do you have the right to tell me that?
No, that would be a thought crime.
And so,
that would be a thought crime. But we push our society forward by trying to determine whether or not something is true.
Well, sure we do. I've been trying to. I believe that there's an Almighty because I believe that it's true. But the only point I'm making is that is a belief. It's not something I can prove. It's something I believe with all my heart. But I can't prove that there is a God. Right. Therefore, I can't go around trying to convert other people into believing there's a God any more than you can go around trying to convert Christians into atheists. And I'm sure you would do that, Eric. I can tell by your character. You wouldn't push your beliefs onto somebody else. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, our show is a show that people call into. We're not cold calling people, right? I mean, they decide they want to talk to us by calling us. So you're right. But I think we might be getting off a little bit. Ed, I do know what you're saying. And it sounds like we can agree on humanist values and work together. And I think that's fantastic. And if you can keep putting up with my smug butt, and then I hope you keep watching the show, because I'd love to get your input at some point. Keep watching. Thank you for finding us.
Well, I appreciate your show, and I appreciate your honesty and your openness, like you was with that lady a while ago. I mean, you were very straightforward with her, and that's the first time I've heard you get that hard against someone. But I realized that's what you needed, and you saw that. You saw that and did it, and I appreciate the way you deal with people.
Well, I appreciate you back, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you
what.
I've met in the last 2 years, I've met some wonderful people who are atheists. And they're just wonderful people. They really are. And, you know, all this talk about morality and immorality, morality has to do with your relation to other people.
Hey, Ed, I think we're going to need to take that on another call. We're coming up on the end of the show, but thank you for calling in. You take care.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.